Are there moments in your life when the music stops and life challenges take over? Country music legend T.G. Sheppard stepped out in faith at the age of 15 to become one of the greatest country music artists and legends of all times, with 21 #1 hits and countless consecutive top 10 releases. Many years later, he would meet and marry a beautiful singer and songwriter, Kelly Lang. She too, at the age of 15, recorded her first Billboard single, Lady Lady. This country music power couple has graced the stages all over the world, including our own here in Nashville, the Grand Ole Opry, and the Ryman Auditorium. Together, they have faced challenging times. This is their story of unshakable love and faith. This is today's Nashville. Kelly, T.G., thank you so much for inviting me into your beautiful home. I'm so honored to be sitting down with you.
Well, it's an honor to have you in our home. Thank you for having us.
Well, I'd heard so much about you already because before, when you and Kelly had visited before.
I raved about you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Hey, tell me about this room.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's had some transformation since I have been with you before, but I like to showcase all of TG's albums up here, and I think that's new from before. And we've had so many fun parties in this particular room with a lot of music industry people that, you know, just collaborate and sign my piano after our conversations. And one of my favorite things, it is, it's all signed. We had a piano before and we had a lot of signatures on it, and we ended up donating that for charity. And this one, I'm being a little selfish with, I'm hanging on to it a little longer.
How could you give it up?
It's hard. It's
well,
really
it's hard when you have the names on it that we had, and we've had a lot of, you know, we're afforded a great luxury of being in a business to where our close friends are. Some of them are very iconic people. To us, they're just people. They're just friends.
You are. Both of you are, too.
No.
iconic.
You know, you're legends.
No, I don't know about that.
you.
But.
You know, T.G., I read your bio, and you were friends with Elvis.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I met Elvis when I was between 15 and 16 years old. I was a runaway. I ran away from home to chase this dream that God let me catch. And boy, did I catch it. I met Elvis at a skating rink in Memphis late one night, and he pulled up in a Cadillac and befriended me, and I went in and skated. And after we skated for a few hours, he took me to Graceland.
You're being polite. It wasn't really skating. It was football.
It was football on skates.
skates.
It was pretty rough.
But okay, so
brutal.
I'm thinking, I can't imagine you all skating, but
But
so it was
after we
football.
skated, he invited me up to Graceland. We had the famous peanut butter and banana sandwich, and that was the start of a friendship that lasted until the day he passed.
Did he know that you wanted to get into the country music at that time?
Not until later. You know, after we'd been together a while, he knew that I was a struggling performer and wanted to do something in music, and he really helped me a lot. He gave me great advice, and he gave me also my first tour bus, which people kept saying, well, did Elvis ever give you a Cadillac? No, he gave me something that was worth several Cadillacs. It was a bus, a tour bus.
Isn't that cool?
The bus was great, Terry, but really and truly, what he gave me was the gift of confidence. By giving me the gift of the bus, it gave me confidence to work harder and not let him down. If he believed in me enough to do that, I couldn't let him down. I had to work hard and make it, so it pushed me. It really did. The greatest advice he ever gave me was, if you ever forget where you came from, you're never going to get where you want to go. And my whole life has been that way.
What beautiful words and memories.
Yeah.
So you started out in Memphis.
Yeah.
How did you get to Nashville?
I just, all of a sudden, I was working for RCA, Victor Records, as a record executive, a record promotion man. And I worked with a lot of artists out of Nashville, so I spent a lot of time in Nashville while I was still living in Memphis. But there was one guy that I worked and toured with. I was his promo rep for years, and he kept telling me, you need to quit promoting records and you need to become a singer. And that person was Waylon Jennings. So Waylon is the one that convinced me to become a country singer, so I took his advice.
Amazing. So at the age of 15, you left home.
Yeah.
And Kelly, I read that at the age of 15, you recorded your first Billboard record, Lady, Lady.
I did. I had been singing, goodness, since I was 6 or 7 years old, and on television from the time I was 12 years old up, but to record a Billboard charted song at 15, it was really, I had a lot of nerve at the time. I actually had more audacity than talent at the time, but I just enjoyed performing and I enjoyed recording, and the song Lady Lady was one of the very first videos to be on CMT. As a matter of fact, they didn't have enough programming on CMT at the time, so they paid me to do a video for them. So if anybody out there has a copy of that, I'd love to have that back. But it was a real thrill for me to be in high school and traveling on weekends and, you know, trying to juggle the two.
Now,
but
were you
it was
already
cool.
in Nashville?
I was. We moved from Oklahoma City to Hendersonville, Tennessee when I was like 7. My dad was Conway Twitty's road manager. And so we moved his whole organization over here. And I just kind of threw myself into the music as soon as I got here. I figured, hey, in Music City, why not, you know? So 15, at having a chart, it allowed me to do things like Nashville Network, and it actually got me onto Star Search and with Ed McMahon. So it was a great little run for a young girl like that.
So age 15.
Magic number.
Magic number. Isn't that amazing? And God brought you together. How did that happen?
It's funny, we don't remember actually where we met, but he was an opening act for Conway Twitty, and I was always around at the time. And I was an opening act for a lot of the bigger artists like T.G. and Mickey Gilley and Ronnie Millsap and Loretta Lynn. I just was always the go-to opening act. George Strait. And he ended up being really good friends with my parents, and they were in business together. And I never looked at him like a romantic. I just had great admiration for his workability, and he's just kind. You know, he's just a really lovely person, and just I thought of him as being fun, you know, but never like that until many more years later. And a funny story, although we have a picture of us when I was like 14 opening up for a show, Jamboree in the Hills.
Jamboree in the Hills, yeah.
It was your birthday.
Wheeling, West Virginia.
Yeah,
sure
in 81, I guess.
81,
So we have a
82.
picture of us on a coffee mug from that day. It's so weird to have that in our connection. But his first wife actually fixed us up as adults. And I ran into her at a party, and I had, you know, gone through a divorce maybe 6 or 7 months prior to that. And she had told him she ran into me and that I was single now, and she enticed you to give me a call.
And I did.
And he did. It's been together ever since.
So TG, when did you know that Kelly was it?
I've never heard the answer to this.
Well, I have always thought Kelly was an incredible talent and fun ever since she was a little girl. You know, I watched her star rise, and then when she got married and started raising her children, that was the most important thing to her, was her children. And so her career took a back seat for a lot of years. And so I never really, kind of lost contact with her through that period. But I don't know, I was doing I had my own theater in Pigeon Forge for a while. And Kelly had come to see my show there. And all of a sudden, the lady that showed up at my show was not the little girl, Kelly Lang. It was a grown woman. And I looked at her and I thought how beautiful she was. But I was married. She was married. It just, the timing wasn't right. I think I really knew about then that there was some kind of magic there, but I didn't approach it because I was married.
Was it
and
God's
she was
timing?
Too. Well, we do have magic, we're best friends. We really are.